Welcome to the virtual classroom at the St. Louis Kaplan-Feldman Holocaust Museum. Today, we will be diving into anti-Semitism, the prejudice or hatred against Jewish people. Anti-Semitism has a long and troubling history. It has taken many forms, from stereotyping to social exclusion, even to moments of violence and genocide, as in the case of the Holocaust. Anti-Semitism is often called the oldest hatred. The first forms of this hatred came from religious differences between Christians and Jews thousands of years ago. When Jews would initially not convert to Christianity, dangerous, false rumors began to spread that Jews killed Christ or worshipped the devil. These rumors continued to grow and spread, often morphing into episodes of violence. Jews were sometimes blamed for natural disasters and many large-scale events. During the Black Plague, Jews were killed because of the false conspiracy that they poisoned wells, killing millions of Europeans. Dr. Eric Ward of Evolution of Identity Politics says, "In the US, as in Europe, Jews have been used as scapegoats of the ruling class, a buffer between the haves and the have-nots. In this way, positioned perpetually as the biological other, Jews often find themselves wrongfully cast as the existential evil behind every social disparity, scandalous leader, or societal disaster." Simply put, in the face of nearly any crisis, anti-Semitic patterns of thought tell people, just blame the Jews. Anti-Semitism is often rooted in myths, stereotypes, and conspiracy theories, falsely blaming the Jews for all of society's ills or painting them as evil. The underlying connection between anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and stereotypes found around the world and throughout history is that they simultaneously cast Jews as individuals and as a group as both lowly and dirty, and yet also as powerful shadowy actors working to control society by harming others. These claims were most prominent in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, a fabricated document distributed in the beginning of the 20th century by the Tsarist Russian secret police. The goal of such narratives is to use Jews as scapegoats so that those in power can continue to divide, exploit, and overpower others. Those who have trafficked in anti-Semitic stereotypes often spread the belief that all Jews think and look the same. Jews were portrayed with large noses, dark features, and due to their exclusion from other professions, they were categorized as greedy bankers and tax collectors. All of these are false stereotypes. During the Holocaust, Hitler and the Nazis played off these old stereotypes, labeling Jews as money-hungry and users who were robbing the German people. They were portrayed as aliens and animals, especially as rats or vermin, and ultimately as dangerous. Thousands of anti-Semitic laws were passed against the Jews, making life impossible for them in Germany and later in other collaborator and occupied countries. Ultimately, this legalized anti-Semitism led to the murder of 6 million Jews. While the Holocaust ended in 1945, anti-Semitism did not. Modern anti-Semitism persists in various forms, including hate speech, vandalism, and discrimination. Individuals or groups may utilize symbols of hate, like the swastika, which was the symbol of the Nazi Party and represents the Nazis' racist ideology. Others may use coded language, such as globalists or Zionists, to refer to the Jews disparagingly as secret directors of world events. It is essential that we recognize and call out each of these uses of anti-Semitism, whether in overt acts or subtle prejudices. Next, you'll hear from a few people who've experienced anti-Semitism firsthand.
So my personal experience with anti-Semitism was actually at my synagogue last December. The rabbi sent out an email to all the parents and all the workers saying that there was a bomb threat that morning that was sent to a bunch of synagogues around the US, and my synagogue was one of them.
When I was in 5th grade, we were packing up for school, and this kid, he took a whiteboard, drew a swastika on it, shoved it in my face, and yelled, "Go Nazis." And I was kind of paralyzed in that moment. I didn't really know what to do. I was very uncomfortable. I talked to my teacher, I talked to my parents when I got home, and they talked to the school, and nothing really was done about it.
I remember a story from one of my rabbis about how when he was in college, when he was in a college dorm, his dormmate thought that Jewish people had horns. It's one of many anti-Semitic remarks that unfortunately are very common.
I was attending a Drake concert, and I always wear my Jewish star necklace. A week after Hamas attacked Israel, it went through my mind that I am going to have to make sure that my star is tucked in for my safety.
It is urgent that we all stand together against anti-Semitism. It's not only a problem that does harm to our Jewish friends and neighbors, it also does harm to our democratic system. Dr. Deborah Lipstadt states, "It's imperative that we think of anti-Semitism as more than just a threat to the welfare of Jews and the Jewish community. It's more than just that. It's also a threat to democracy." False beliefs in Jewish world domination or control reveal a fundamental misunderstanding of how our system, how democracy, really works. Anti-Semitic beliefs hurt the very foundation that our communities are built upon because it relies on false perceptions about the world and conspiracy theories. There are several ways that each of us can fight against anti-Semitism. We can call out anti-Semitic remarks when we hear them. We can always alert the police if we see anti-Semitic acts of hate or violence. And we can educate ourselves on how anti-Semitism has been used in the past and how it continues to be used to do harm in our present. Thank you for joining us for today's lesson in the virtual classroom at the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum.